We've come a long way from the specialist weapons of Black Ops 3, evolving them all the way to field upgrades in Cold War, and we see the return of them here in Vanguard Zombies. They've grown into a staple of the zombie mode, and play a large role in the zombie sandbox. So what's wrong with them in Vanguard, and how in the world could Black Ops 4 contain the solution? Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. I absolutely love what they've done with field upgrades in Vanguard Zombies. I love the gods, I love the characters, I love the theme of them. They sound so cool. But the problem with them is that they are at their base level compared to Cold War. They are weaker, they're not as effective, and for a lot of players that means they're not as fun to use. Now this could be argued that it's a balancing factor and they want players to have this weaker version of this field upgrade, but I'm not sure that's the way to go with this. Regardless of whether or not you think this is a balancing factor or if they should remain this weak, I think there's an honest conversation to be had about the engagement level and depth that field upgrades have here in Vanguard. The obvious solution is to re-implement the Ethereum crystal system that we had in Cold War. I think this would be pretty inoffensive and function pretty well. However, I like the direction that Treyarch took with the in-game upgrades of their perk system, and I think they are in a prime position to implement something similar with the field upgrade system. Since they've already dedicated themselves to having in-game upgrades, it would be congruent to have an in-game upgradable field upgrade. But how would we implement this, donuts? Well, all we have to do is go way back to the Black Ops 4 Specialist system. Yes, the Black Ops 4 Specialist system required you to get kills to fill up, much like field upgrades, but every time you used your Specialist, it would rank up a little bit in its own personal level. The more you used it, the more levels you got, the stronger and the more different abilities you unlocked. If this system were implemented in Vanguard Zombies, this would be so much fun. Starting off with this base ability, this weak ability, and continuing to use these abilities up into the higher and higher rounds would not only allow players to get to higher and higher rounds, but it would make those higher and higher rounds more engaging. It would also add to the player progression system that was so good in Cold War, and hopefully we get back here in Vanguard as well with the upgradable perks too. As far as the specific levels, you can just copy paste those 5 tiers from Cold War right on over here to Vanguard, and they would fit absolutely beautifully. This would add depth to the gameplay, it would add depth to the zombie sandbox, and it would be incredibly more fun to use these field upgrades. It would encourage players to experiment and make the most out of their field upgrades. You see, field upgrades in my eyes are the closest thing we have to specialist characters like a medic or a tank or something of that sort. And it doesn't even stop there. If there was some sort of Ethereum crystal implementation in a future title or even an overhaul of this game, that could also fit well in line with this system too. This is a concept that I just recently talked about in my perk system video. In theory, players could earn Ethereum crystals to spend outside of the game to upgrade their field upgrades, but instead of doing what Cold War did and just giving them that super strong field upgrade right from the start, they implement the Black Ops 4 Specialist system and make players earn those tiers, earn those levels of that power of that field upgrade. Honestly, I think this is something that Cold War should have even implemented. I think it would be super fun. Ultimately, I think this would help the balance of the game, and personally, I think it would really help the pace of the game. As I've said throughout the year, Cold War's biggest strength is that sense of progression through the rounds, and I think Vanguard Zombies could very much capitalize on this, especially with their perk system. If they had this sort of system in here too, it would complement it perfectly. What do you think of the field upgrades in Vanguard Zombies? Do they meet your expectations? Could they have a little bit more depth? How would you change them? Or would you keep them the same? Do you like the difficulty that it's at now? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching these 2 videos on screen and subscribing and joining me on my road to 5,000 subscribers. And until the next episode of Beautiful Zombies Morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.